Yes, sir. So, a very good afternoon to one and all present in the meeting. I am Raksha Gidwani, moderator of today's webinar with my co-host Nishika Pungalia. I welcome you all to the webinar and thank you for joining us on the webinar Power Talk with Power Talk with City Toppers. So, success is not just a word, but it is an emotion of joy, excitement, satisfaction, and fulfillment. But to achieve it requires a lot of hard work, perseverance, patience, dedication, focus. Sometimes in our journey towards success, we might feel low. We might doubt ourselves. Am I worthy enough? Am I capable of doing this? We might think of giving up. But at that time, we need to stay motivated and we do not have to give up because success comes to those who stay consistent with their goals. Success may not come immediately, but it will come definitely. And one of the key aspects in success is learning. No matter what your age is, no matter what you are doing, no matter what your profession is, learning is very important. Learning at each stage of our journey is very crucial because as we learn, we grow. And the moment we stop learning, we stop succeeding. Generally speaking, learning can be categorized in two ways.
Kesha Malpani, Namokar Garg.
Our own mistakes and our own failures, and which we gain through success or failures of others. And sometimes being wise is a better option so that we do not end up committing the same mistakes as the others did. And so here we are in this webinar. Now, today we are gonna learn some secret tips from city toppers that help them to achieve excellence in their exams. So, moving the flow of even further, I would now like to request CICASA Chairman CA Hemant Lohiya sir for his welcome address.
So Hemant sir, you're mute.
Sir, your
Good afternoon, friends. I see Hemant Lohiya, Chairman CICASA branch, Jodhpur, on behalf of all managing committee members of Jodhpur branch, welcomes all of you for today's power talk on success mantra with our city toppers, Mr. Keshav, Namokar, Ms. Lakshita, and Shruti Bhattar. Now I request our Jodhpur branch chairman, C. Dhaval Kothari sir, to give his word of wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words.
Thank you, Hemant ji. Thank you, Raksha.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, I'm audible?
हाँ.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Success सबको पता है मिलने के बाद, बट सक्सेस कैसे मिलेगी उसके लिए बहुत सारे बेसिक्स फॉलो करने पड़ेंगे. In my views, we have to plan properly. We must be in self-confidence. We have to work hard. We have to be in a positive thinking with a positive attitude, and most important, discipline. अगर किसी भी टास्क को करने के लिए अगर हम प्रॉपरली प्लान कर लेते हैं, वर्क हार्ड करते हैं और सब कुछ डिसिप्लिन मैनर में करते हैं तो डेफिनेटली विल गेट सक्सेस. Regarding self-confidence, I want to share a story. In CA when we did exams, I have a group of 16 people. On first paper, advanced accounting, हम लोग एग्जाम देकर बाहर आए. तो ये सब लोगों का बेसिक्स होता है कि हम लोग आंसर टैली करते हैं, किसको क्या आंसर आया क्या नहीं आया. तो जैसे डिस्कशन स्टार्ट हुआ तो 3 क्वेश्चंस ऐसे थे जिसमें मेरे आंसर डिफरेंट थे, बाकी सबके कॉमन थे. मेरा सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस वहीं पे लूज हो गया कि अब तो कोई मतलब रहा नहीं है, अब क्या करना, कल एग्जाम नहीं देना. और मैं घर जाके लिटरली कुछ नहीं पढ़ा. फिर सोचा जब अब एक अटेम्प्ट और देना ही है तो क्यों नहीं एग्जाम तो नहीं देते हैं. और नेक्स्ट डे ऑडिट का एग्जाम था। एग्जाम सारे कंप्लीट हुए। अल्टीमेटली सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस धीरे धीरे लूज होता गया, क्योंकि वो फर्स्ट पेपर इतना खराब हुआ था जो मुझे लग रहा था, पर एक्चुअल में वैसा नहीं। जब रिजल्ट आया तो आई वॉज द ओनली वन हु क्लियर द एग्जाम। तो मैं इस बात से सिर्फ आपको यही कहना चाहूंगा कि आप अपना सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस कभी लूज मत करो। हो सकता है कि कुछ लोगों की हैबिट हो एग्जाम्स के बाद आंसर डिस्कस करने की। आई रिक्वेस्ट वो सारे एग्जाम खत्म होने के बाद डिस्कस कर लेना, सेम डे सेम टाइम पर डिस्कस ना करें, क्योंकि इट मे पॉसिबल।
All India rank 26 in the CA Intermediate December 2021 attempt and was the Jodhpur city top. Along with the Chartered Accountancy course, he is pursuing his BCom degree from Christ University. He is currently in Bangalore working as an article editor. Next is Namokar Garg, born and brought up in Gangapur city, Rajasthan. Completed his junior secondary education through Board Public School, Jaipur. He cleared his intermediate with 581 marks and is currently pursuing his articleship from Kalani and Company, Jaipur, and simultaneously from University Commerce College in Jaipur. Next we have is Lakshita Agarwal. She did her schooling from St. Patrick's Vidya Bhavan and secured 97.4% in 12th class. She is a CA finalist pursuing BCom simultaneously. She cleared both groups of CA intermediate with a total score of 5.7 marks and an exemption in 7 subjects, and is currently doing her articleship with Chodia and Associates, Jodhpur. Next is Shruti Bhattar. She cleared both groups of CA intermediate and got an exemption in all the 8 subjects. She is also in Jodhpur doing her BCom from Jain Iron Class University and articleship from firm RJ Maheshwari and Associates.
Thank you, Nishika. And now I would like to request Kesha Malpani to share his experience and his strategies that helped him clear the exam.
Okay, so greetings for the day. So first of all, big thanks to ICAI Jodhpur branch for giving me an opportunity to interact with you all. Also to all my teachers, my family, my friends who have helped me in any way to where I am. So I would talk very briefly about my CA inter preparation, and so I've divided this into 3 stages. So before the exams, just before, like 2 months before the exams, and during the exams. So before the exams, I was concentrating on finishing the lectures or syllabus in case of self-study and have a proper time for revision. And I initially did not stress too much during the initial days, but was continuously with my study and daily plans. And this helped me to clearing in the sense getting a perform very consistently and without having stress. And one more important thing is I try to maintain my personal life as well as social life. And I think it's really very important because a person needs to control himself or herself from all the distractions around him or her. Now, one more important thing which I try to bring change in my thinking was I try to focus on the process rather than the result. So, what I really mean is, while I was preparing for CA Inter, we have heard like how difficult CA course is. But after some time, I stopped running towards the result. I try to focus on my process. So that helped me that not being stressed out, and it also gave me motivation of doing my best rather than just running for passing the exams. Also, it helped me a good learning, as I said, because the approach towards the exam is not for passing, but for learning as well as getting the performing our best. And yes, the byproduct is basically better results. So when we see someone has achieved something or we see his or her success, we must try to observe the steps or the incremental steps which he or she has taken to achieve the same. And one more thing which I did was introspection. So at the end of the day, whenever I used to go to sleep, I used to think of all the concepts or the things which I've studied throughout the day very briefly. So that helped me to understand and self introspect, like how much amount I have grasped and how much amount of extra efforts I need to put in the next day. So this habit was really helpful for me. So moving on to the next stage is during the 1 to 2 months before the exams. So I try to keep things very simple. Study from the ICAI material and the notes given by the teacher, and did multiple times revision. I feel the revision is basically the key to success. And self study is basically which a person needs to do in the last 2 months. That is basically the revision only. So this will help you to gain confidence, like how much you have learned or not. And solving RTP, MTPs, yes, that is must as well. Further, there is one thing. So during the exam, I would suggest is revise everything which you have done and don't miss out any of the chapters which you have already done. So sleep well before the exam starts. But what I would suggest is during the exam period, our only goal should be to complete 100% revision which we have already done. Like we have learned, we must revise that before the exam. That is 1.5 days or 2 days left. So that I feel is very important. And there's one quote which one thing which my teacher said uh, was to like if you give 100%, why 100% is important is because if you give your 99% effort, then that is the best recipe for the 100% failure, he said to me. And he said that if like everybody knows, like 1 raised to the power 365 is 1, but 1 raised to the power 1.01 raised to the power 365 comes around 37. So you can see the difference of 1% of the efforts. So further, there are 2 3 more things which I would like to highlight is, so as I said earlier, I tried to finish the complete revision of the subject in 2 days. And this is only possible if you have done the practice of revising the same. So around 5 to 6 weeks before, I started my revision practice, like of completing each subject within 2 days, so that I can get an idea as to where to make improvements or how to complete the revision in a quicker manner. And then last moment, like 1 to 2 weeks before, I stopped learning anything new, but I just tried to polish or get a good command over what I've done earlier. And regarding the MCQ approach, solving ICI case-based scenario is the best for MCQ. Plus, if you have external material, you can refer as well. Now, during the examination, then what I feel is while writing the examination, concentration is very important. I know it's something which is being told, it's other regarding confidence is being told by a lot of people, but the thing is, it's very difficult to incorporate or implement at the during the exam period. So what I really did was whenever I used to attempt any of the question, I used to say to myself that this time I need to do it perfectly without any mistake, and I need to answer what the question is asking. So most of, like, sometimes a person might write the answer which is not being asked, and I really don't think one, like, a person has that much amount of time to read the question. So I have that basic mentality of doing it and reading the question very properly and answering accordingly. And I tried to complete each and every paper around 10 minutes early so that I can get the time to revise the same. And during the paper, while regarding the MCQ approach, what I really feel, and one of my senior also told me, so he told me that just start the MCQ just after 2 hours. The reason being, so after 2 hours, your brain is pretty warmed up, and it's like it's able to link the things very quickly. So at that period of time, just exactly after 2 hours, you can do the MCQs pretty easily, as well as since it carries a good amount of marks and you can do it pretty quickly, it will give you very good confidence during the exam only. So that was regarding the MCQ, like how to attempt it, and I really find it very useful because it worked for me. And it was like I really was gaining a lot of confidence when I was able to complete 50-60 marks paper regarding the theory before the 2 hours, and after that MCQ doing in just around 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So that gave me a lot of confidence, like I can score at least 40 marks and I can go for even approach for getting exemption. So other relevant things which I would like to talk is regarding the mental well-being as well as the physical well-being. So I would just suggest that don't leave what you really like. Say for example, if you love music, like singing or whatever, so just carry on. If you really think that you're not able to match up with what your hobby is, then I would suggest that reduce or cut its duration rather than just eliminating from your life for that period of time. So one more thing I would like to highlight is you must reward yourself. Say if you feel like you have really studied really well for 2 to 3 weeks, then just go out and play. Regarding the reward, it must be a productive thing, just not going and playing mobile games. Rather, I would suggest going outside, interacting with your friends, probably have a fruitful discussion with them. So that would really re-energize you to study well for the following days, and eat, study really well, and take care of your mental health, and limit your social media time. I'm not saying to completely eliminate it. The reason being, it's not practically possible, but just try to limit your social media time. And at the end, I would just say that having a disciplined life is of utmost importance, because getting towards the goal is like winning the game, but building the system is like playing the game. Here, building the system basically means the discipline in your life. So that's similar. We see that one has achieved, but we need to see what's the building. If someone has achieved something, we need to see what's the building system, and that is basically most of the times the discipline in life. And my request to everybody is to implement those things in your life and just don't listen over it. So thank you and have a nice day.
Well, thank you so much, Kesha, for your insights. I would now request Shruti Bhattar to share her experience and strategies.
Hi, myself Shruti Bhattar. I would like to begin by quoting a Sanskrit shlok. Yata yakina chakrina na rathasya gatir bhave, evam purushakarina vina devam na sityati. It means, like a chariot cannot be drawn on one wheel, similarly, love doesn't bear its fruit just without hard work. So many of people, we have heard many people saying that, see, mein to luck chahiye. But luck only works when you have done your hard work well. So that should be kept well in mind. And to ensure that your hard work bears its fruit well, you should plan your 8 to 9 months very strategically in the beginning so that you don't panic out in the end moment. That is very important. And the journey of CA Intermediate, it's very tough and toiling, but it is full of lessons. It taught me many things, and I would like to share a few of them. First one was time prioritization. Because when you get to tackle 8 subjects single-handedly, you need to learn how to allocate your time to different subjects. Some subjects are strong and some are weak. So you need to manage all those 8 subjects so that you can score exemption in your strong subjects and at least 40 in the weak subject. And also you need to summarize all those study which you have done in the 7 to 8 months in the last 1 month during your revision period, and further for your 1.5 days. So that is to be also prepared in the time management thing. And also one thing I learned was to remain poised and not to lose confidence in the month of just 1 month before the exams, because I was like this was one of the mistakes which I made during the preparation. I started to panic out. I was like, जो पढ़ा है वो याद नहीं आ रहा है, अभी जो पढ़ रहे हैं वो याद नहीं हो रहा है. That was the stage, and I was not willing to give the second look. But then my family motivated me. My father used to every day sit with me that तू पढ़ मैं पास में बैठा हूँ, but you study. And my grandfather also used to tell me about how he struggled during his childhood to become what he is now. And that way they motivated me. And also what I did, I took a photograph of my parents and I placed it on the study table. I was like, इन दो लोगों के लिए पढ़ना है, but मेरे CA बनने से सबसे ज़्यादा इनको खुशी होगी. So that was something which motivated me and got me back out of all that depression and stress. And like Keshav said, that you should also invest your time in your hobbies. That is very important. So you should take out 5 to 10 minutes on daily basis, because this is very important to keep your mind refreshed. क्योंकि पढ़ के दिमाग इतना थक जाता है that it needs something to relax your brain. So I used to play with my pet dog every day, 5 to 10 minutes, or maybe go out on a walk or listen to some cool music, and then I used to get back to study. So this was something which I did. And at last I would just like to say कि सफर खूबसूरत है मंजिल से भी. So enjoy the journey and you'll definitely get to the goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Shruti. You shared some really wonderful tips. Now I would like to request Lakshita Agarwal to share her experience.
Thank you, Raksha. So I'll be briefing you all about the CA journey and what all I have learned in past those 2 years. So if I start with my CA intermediate classes, so I started my CA intermediate classes from February itself, February 2021. And one thing I will really suggest you all is that try to be attentive as much as possible and to be consistent with your classes. Never skip any class unless it's very important, because initially you won't realize, but after a few months or when your attempt is around the corner, you'll realize the importance of even a single minute. So it's very much important to take your classes regularly. Secondly, self-study should run parallel with your classes. No matter from where you are taking your classes, you may take the class from the best tutor, but self-study is what that matters a lot. Then secondly, I'll be talking about planning. So a goal without a plan is just a wish. So what I used to do was that I used to make two plans. One was daily timetable and the other was the broader weekly timetable. And I used to put both of them right in front of my desk on a bulletin board. And before sleeping, I used to just strike off what all I have done today and used to make the plan for the next consecutive day. So it really helps a lot because we have a lot of time constraint. So it helps you to utilize your time more effectively. And since the fact that C intermediate course is so vast, so you tend to forget about a few topics if you won't jot it down. So planning plays a very, very important role. Then secondly, what students usually do is that they tend to neglect the ICAI study mat. They do it from the faculty's notes, but never neglect ICAI study material, because especially in theoretical subject, because what happens is that examiners look for keywords and ICAI study mat has all the keywords that an examiner want in the answer sheet. So if you like even read it just once, you'll have a brief idea on what you have to write and what not you have to write. Then in your last 1 month, just try to solve as many as RTPs, MTPs, previous year question papers. All those are available on ICAI BOS, because at that time you need to evaluate yourself that I am good in this on all those particular subjects and I need to work in these subjects. So you can now allocate your time in that manner. And what happens is that those 3 hours feels like just 1 hour while you are writing your paper. So you need to know, get an idea on how you have to manage your time in the exam and how you have to allocate every minute in the exam. And next, if I'll be talking about your, just don't be all about your studies. Just don't put your head in books all the day. You need to just prioritize everything. Even if you want to talk to your friend, then talk. If you want to just roam around, then just roam around. But you need to allocate your time wisely, because there's a lot of time constraint. So just don't be all about the studies, but have a social life as well. Secondly, if I talk about the MCQs are very, very important because of the fact they don't have any negative marking. So scoring even like 20-25 marks plays a very, very important role. And the ICI issues that MCQ booklet, which has more than around 100 questions. So even if you do that MCQ booklet even once, it will help you a lot and you'll easily score more than 20 marks in your exam. I passed my EISSM just because of the MCQ. So if you're aiming for just 40 marks, then just focus more on MCQs. And then about the answer presentation. So I'm not saying ki you need to like write beautifully, slowly you have to write and properly present your answers, but just try to play with the psychology of the examiner, because if you present your answer well, it will give a direct impression that yes, this child is intelligent and she or he has studied something. So just try to play with the psychology of the teacher and present your answers as neatly as possible, like starting the new question with the new paper, writing the question just on the in the middle of the page and not at the side. Just there are like these few tips. If you'll take care, it won't even count an effort, but will have a huge impact on your marks. And then secondly, just there will be times where you'll be like ki ab nahi ho raha hai. Just like that giving up attitude. So if you have entered in that course, you'll have a lot of reality check. It will not be sugar coated days where you will be like, okay, fine, you have studied for just 4 5 hours and then you're chill. No, it's not like that. You'll have to study for more than 12 hours. But then if you have entered in this course, अब अगर कर ही लिया तो गिव अप कर लिया तो फिर कोर्स में क्यों घुसे ना, वो वाली बात होती है. तो just believe in yourself, talk to your parents as much as possible. In a way, even if you want to cry in front of your parents, then just cry. Don't hesitate. It's not that you are locking up yourself in room and then crying. Like, just talk to your parents, be transparent as much as possible. And one more thing which is very, very important is that just have a good group of people who are pursuing CA along with you. Just discuss with them, just ask questions, because what happens is that if your friend is asking you a question, you will even process everything ki, what's the logic behind this question, and you'll explain that person. So in a way you are clearing your concepts as well. So try to as much as contacts as possible. And yeah, all the best for your attempt. Thank you.
Well, Lakshita, thank you so much. You really shared some useful insights. Now I would request Namokar Garg to share his experience.
Thank you, Raksha. And thank you, Keshav, Shruti, and Lakshita for your such inspiring words. And I think most of the things have already been covered by them, and I have left with none other points to add on. But if I were to add few points to them, I can see like, if we start with my journey, I started my intermediate preparation just after a week for my CA foundation exam. As soon as I completed my examinations, a week later, I started my preparation for CA intermediate. So I also request my friends to decide well before starting the classes, from where you have to take the classes, how you will access them, whether you will take in physical mode, online mode, because nowadays online facility for classes is a very boon for all the CA students, because teachers are teaching very tremendously good in online mode. So you can also opt to go online or physical mode depending on your choice. Also, you need to decide at the inception of the classes or your preparation itself that whether you are going to give both groups or single groups, because it's gonna have a direct impact on your strategy to prepare for both the groups. Because if you are preparing for both the groups, your strategy is to be a little bit different, because now you have to focus on all 8 subjects. However, if you are preparing for one group simultaneously, you have to prepare for that same. Okay. Now I would like to say that during your preparation, your classes, you will feel like that यार कुछ याद ही नहीं हो रहा. I mean, मतलब classes ले रहे हैं, समझ में आ रहा है, पर चीजें याद नहीं हो रही. For that I'll say you that याद किसी को नहीं होता यार. सिर्फ रिवीजन ही ऐसी चीज है जिससे चीजें याद होती है. तो अल्टीमेटली एक बार आप पहले पूरा सिलेबस तो करिए, फिर उसके बाद रिवीजन की सोचना, क्योंकि आप 8 सब्जेक्ट्स की एक साथ प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हो. तो हाउ कैन यू थिंक दैट यार मैं सेल्फ स्टडी भी कर लूंगा, क्लासेस के साथ साथ मैं 8 सब्जेक्ट की क्लासेस भी ले लूंगा, मैं सब कुछ कर लूंगा. यार भगवान तो नहीं है ना अपन. तो वी शुड हैव अ दैट एटीट्यूड फॉर दैट. ओके. एंड सेल्फ स्टडी इज ऑलरेडी कवर्ड. ओके. नाउ आई वांट टू से दैट आप क्लासेस कहीं से भी ले, रिमेंबर दैट यू complete your syllabus or attend the classes consistently, because consistency is very important for the CA course especially. Okay, so try to complete the homeworks and assignments and any of the things which are given by your teacher on daily basis, because there will be a lot of pressure from all the subjects. So try to avoid any pendency in regarding any concept clarity or any specific chapter, because you never know, buddy, that you may leave a chapter in option that I leave it, and you never know that chapter which you left comes in a compulsory question for any examination. So you need to also remember that nothing is to be left, no chapter is to be left, no topic, no concept. Everything is to be covered. Okay. And also I can say that my strategy was that I started my preparation a week later of my completion of CA foundation, and I completed my classes around mid of May or May end. Okay. After that my revision stage started. In my revision stage, I can say that revision was the only reason I was able to score marks in my CA intermediate, because my revision strategy was very very interesting. I did 4 revisions before my examinations, and 4 revisions were like, after I completed my studies and all the classes and all the lectures, I used to prepare my revision strategy in like, I will give 3 test series, because revision and test series are the only ones which can lead to success. So I used to give multiple test series. In three, I gave 3 test series before my examination. In the first test series, it was like I took 8 days for every exam, for preparing for every exam, because in the first revision I have to cover every subject, whole of the subject. So there are many more portions, things to cover. So I gave myself 8 days to complete everything and whole subject, and I completed my first test series in 8 days. Okay. Immediately after completing my first test series, I prepared for the next test series, in which I gave the gap of 5 days to cover the subjects for the preparation. After the second test series, I again gave a test series. It was third test series, and for that I took the gap for just 2 days to cover whole the subjects, so that, because already 2 test series are already given my way, so I was fair enough that I can cover the whole subject in 2 days. And as soon as my 3 test series were completed, I was well ready with all the revisions and for my exams. And just before the examinations, the preparation time for the examinations were I mean that the preparation time which you get 1.5 days for your examination is very crucial to decide whether you will able to clear your examinations or not, because in that time the coverage you make, the concept you brush up again, and the attention with which you read the concepts you cover decides whether you will able to clear them or not. So doing CA is like, यार तपना तो पड़ता है यार, देखो चीजें कुछ चाहिए तो कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है, वो बात तो है. My tax teacher, I'll not quote his name, he used to say that in CA, hard work can smart work can fail, but hard work can never. If you'll go by the lines, you will understand that smart work, a person who is doing a smart work, he's considered good, he's considered efficient, but the person who is a hard worker definitely have a place in CA. And CA syllabus is like, you have to become chatur rancho. Do you remember? I think all of you have watched Three Idiots, and in Three Idiots, in that movie, there was a character Chatur Ramlingam, and we have our famous Amir Khan, Rancho. Rancho was a person who did not like to mug up the things. He used to like to he liked to understand the concept and know the reality behind it. On the contrary, there was another person who was a class topper. Where Chatur. He used to just mug up the things. He never used to understand what was the content, what was the reasoning behind, or what was the rationale behind the concept. He never learned it. He used to just mug up the things. So from that movie, we have to learn that in CA whole CA curriculum, you have to become Chatur and Rancho, because only by understanding the concept, you will not able to clear the exams, because ICAI wants the answers which it presents in a book. It's not like that you have to mug up all the text which is provided by ICAI, but at least the keywords, because yeah, CA it's obviously a professional examination. You must think by the institute that how can it let all the students clear the examinations. It's a very professional examination. To keep its level in the market, we have to uh, we have to see that only few deserving candidates pass, and you need to take care that you make your place in that 10%, 12%, or whatever percentage result ICI gives. And always remember, my friends, ICI institute, our institute always wants us to clear the examination. It always wants us to see it. It is we ourselves who always keep on blaming that ICI का material खराब है, ICI की checking खराब है. So that's all I want to conclude. And just work hard and just remember the day when your result comes, and you'll see that in first group and second group, both the groups, you see the result pass, and then imagine the face of the parents, the happiness, the emotion, the day, the remember that day. That will be a best motivation that I can say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Namokar.
Now, taking the floor further, we would like to ask certain questions regarding your journey and the hardships that you have faced during your study days, and how did you cross them and secured a rank, as it might help other students during their preparations as well. So my first question is for Keshav. Like you said, we all have a social life, and it contributes to many distractions that we as students face while learning, and the most common are web surfing, social media, and electronic gadgets. So how did you cope up with these distractions while preparing for your examination?
So basically, what I really tried was whenever I was not able to control, I was not able to control myself. I used to delete that app. So what I did was I deleted all my applications, and actually I do not have an account with any of the Facebook or Instagram. So I personally only dislike this because it's all based on algorithm. It manipulates, and we get addicted to it, right? So I just try to be less involved in the social media as much as possible. Further, I try to keep only those relevant things. Say, for example, in YouTube, there could be teachers who would be teaching like I need a concept clarity. So for that only I used to do it. Otherwise, whenever I used to feel that I'm not able to have a control over this mobile or any application, I simply used to delete it, because I think whenever you're not in control, like I feel like I try to, first of all, I try to manage it, but in case I'm not able to, then that's the best solution for me, at least.
Okay, so thank you for the answer. And so moving on to my next question. So like one and a half day before examination is very crucial, as the course is too vast to cover up in a single day. So Shruti, I would like to know what was your strategy regarding the same?
Yeah, you're right. 1.5 days is not sufficient to revise the whole course by 100%. So what I did, I made a strategy. जो करना है वो अच्छे से करना है. जितना cover हो रहा है, that should be 100%. So I never covered 100% course. I used to target at most 80% course I covered, but with 100% accuracy. So that this will come, I can write it properly. Otherwise, what happens that in case of doing the 100% course, बहुत सारी चीजें छूट जाती है. So instead of doing that, जितना करो उतना अच्छे से करो.
Okay, thank you.
So Lakshita, as you laid emphasis on doing RTPs, MTPs, and previous year question papers, so I would like you to elaborate on this. How many RTPs and MTPs are enough, or how should we do them? How many days prior to the examinations we should plan to do RTPs, MTPs, and previous exam papers?
So I didn't take any test series from outside coaching. I just did the RTPs which were available on the ICAI BOS. So I did I used to like practical subjects. So in practical subjects, I did almost like 3-4 papers each. And even just before leaving my home, before the exam, I used to go through the RTP, MTP, the this year, my December 2021 RTP MTP, because it has happened that a few questions were asked, same questions were asked. So पता नहीं कब लग काम कर जाता है. So just at least this year MTP RTP, so you have to do it. It is must. And if you are like, it depends on person to person. If you are slow in writing, so you need to do more RTP MTP for the theoretical subjects. But if you don't have confidence in practical subjects, तो उसमें ज़्यादा करना पड़ेगा. तो it depends on person to person. But at least 2 to 3 question papers of each subject is must, because it will give you a brief idea. Because what happened with me was that when I first did my tax question paper, I was stuck in like case-based MCQ for 1 hour. I just did one question in 1 hour and I was like, कि क्या पढ़ा है मैंने? But then when I moved to second question paper, it was way better than the first. So you will gain confidence like this. You can't just rely on one question paper. कि एक question paper नहीं हुआ तो फिर से कुछ नहीं हुआ ना. It will not. It isn't like this. You need to do at least 2 to 3 question papers to have like a little bit of confidence at least. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Lakshita. Shruti, what are your views on doing RTPs and MTPs?
So what I used to do that whenever I had only one revision, तो जैसे एक सब्जेक्ट का रिवीजन हुआ उसके RTPs and MTPs कर लो and उनके जो भी आपको क्वेश्चंस इंपॉर्टेंट लग रहे हैं I used to mark them for the 1.5 days. So during that time I used to see only those questions and इस attempt के RTP MTP and previous 2 attempt के at least आप कर लो तो it's best. That was my strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Shruti. My next question is for Namokar. Namokar, while preparing for exams, it is very common that we talk to our friends, we talk to our relatives, and like suppose one of our friends says कि यार ये तो tax तो बहुत difficult है and I'm not able to do costing. So that things, sometimes we start to feel the same कि yes, this subject is difficult because so many people are saying around us. So yes, it becomes difficult for us also. So how to tackle that situation?
एक्चुअली फॉर दैट रक्षा मतलब मैं ऐसा कहना चाहूंगा कि लोग तो कुछ कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना, तो वो वाली बात है. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता कि आपको कुछ मतलब चलो ठीक है यार सीए है, सारे सब्जेक्ट एक जैसे नहीं हो सकते, हर सब्जेक्ट में वेरिएशन होता है, डाइवर्सिटी होती है. पर ऐसा नहीं है ना कि यार कोई सब्जेक्ट टफ है तो यार छोड़ देते हैं उसको. आप ये सोचो कि आप उसको छोड़ने से एक सब्जेक्ट क्लियर कर सकते हो क्या, आप पेपर क्लियर कर सकते हो क्या. अपना तो मोटिव ये है ना कि यार बोथ ग्रुप्स क्लियर करना है. ऐसा थोड़ा ना मेरे को एक सब्जेक्ट में मैंने 95 मार्क्स आ गए तो मैंने कुछ अचीव कर लिया. एटलीस्ट ये तो हो कि मेरा बोथ ग्रुप्स क्लियर हो जाए, मैं अच्छी से आर्टिकल से ज्वाइन कर लूँ और मैं अपना सक्सेस प्रोसीड करूँ. और उसी जैसे आपने कहा कि टैक्स टफ है, कॉस्ट टफ है, मैं मेरा एग्जांपल लेता हूँ. मेरा एक फ्रेंड था, उसकी कॉस्टिंग में 2 बार उसने कॉस्टिंग का पेपर दिया, उसने 2 अटेम्प्ट दिया, वो फेल हो गया कॉस्टिंग में. तीसरी बार जाकर उसका कॉस्टिंग का पेपर क्लियर हुआ. ऑन द सेम ट्यूनिंग मैंने कॉस्टिंग का पेपर दिया था. आई वाज एबल टू स्कोर 93 मार्क्स एंड दैट टू आई अटेंडेड ओनली द पेपर ऑफ 95 मार्क्स. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको कोई पेपर डिफिकल्ट लगता है. इट्स लाइक योर ओपिनियन ऑफ सीइंग और ओपिनियन ऑफ सॉल्विंग द थिंग्स. टैक्स हो गई, कॉस्टिंग हो गई, ऑडिट हो गई, सारी सब्जेक्ट्स है, उनका अलग अलग अपना अपना रोल है. तो आप उनको पेपर वाइज, पेपर की स्ट्रेटजी, पेपर जो पास फ्रेंड्स आ रहा है उनके अकॉर्डिंग पढ़िए तो थिंग्स विल बी बेटर, मोर बेटर.
Thank you, Namokar.
So Keshav, my next question is for you. It's the same that Raksha asked to Namokar. It's like tax is a difficult subject when we talk about practical subjects, and audit is a difficult subject when we talk about theory subjects. So what was your strategy towards them, like these particular subjects?
So I would just take example of ESSM and audit, which everybody told, like I have heard, and probably like it's kind of difficult to learn so many things. So first of all, I used to keep myself very calm. I used to say myself like, it's okay, it will take time, but I will learn slowly and gradually. I didn't used to go very fast regarding these theory subjects. And RTPs, MTPs, now it gives you the trend, like what kind of questions are being asked, and it really helped me analyze like what could be the probable questions. So I solved a few like a lot of RTPs, MTPs. So at the time of giving the exam, I felt like these were more or less, like a lot of questions were more or less of similar to RTP, MTPs. So the only suggestion is to keep yourself calm when somebody says that it's a pretty difficult subject, or whatever his opinion is, and do kind of, in case it is really tough for you, then give extra efforts. Try solving more RTP, MTP so that you can analyze and get a trend, like what kind of questions could be asked.
Thank you. Namokar, my next question is for you. Could you give us a brief insight about the study pattern that you followed, and like according to you, how many revisions are necessary?
Yeah, sure, Nishika. I mean, you have to follow different strategy for practical and for theoretical subjects, because paper strategy and study strategy, paper are different. All the papers for practical and theory are different, so you have to keep a different strategy also for both the papers. For practical, I can say that ICAI material भगवान है. देखो, ICAI material is the Bible. उसको तो आपको कभी लीव करना ही नहीं है. कोई क्वेश्चन टफ है तो उसको ऐसा नहीं करना कि यार हो ही नहीं रहा अपन तो उसको तो छोड़ जाते, ये क्या आएगा, है ना। तो कवरेज आप पूरा करो आईसीआई मटेरियल का, थ्योरी हो चाहे प्रैक्टिकल हो। थ्योरी में आई मीन मैं भी ऐसा बच्चा रहा हूँ बहुत एवरेज, तो मेरे को थ्योरी याद नहीं होती थी आसानी से। आई यूज्ड टू टेक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम टू मेमोराइज द थिंग्स। तो माय स्ट्रेटजी फॉर पर्टिकुलरली थ्योरी सब्जेक्ट वाज लाइक, आप पहले कंटेंट रीड कर लो, फिर आप उनके जो कीवर्ड्स है पहले आप कंटेंट रीड कर लो, एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्रिएट कर लो कि ये जो कंटेंट है वो आपको क्या ग्रिस्प क्या देना चाह रहा है। ओके, उसके बाद आप उसके कीवर्ड्स हाईलाइट कर लो, क्योंकि आईसीआई की जो मोस्ट प्रोबेबली मेरे अकॉर्डिंग जो चेकिंग स्कीम रहती है वो रहती है क्या, एटलीस्ट बच्चे ने कीवर्ड्स लिखे हैं तो उसको मार्क्स ग्रांटेड करे जा सकते हैं। तो आप पहले कंटेंट रीड कर लीजिए, उसके एक शॉर्ट समरी सी आपके माइंड में क्रिएट कर लीजिए, फिर एक कीवर्ड के थ्रू आप चीजों को मेमोराइज करना याद करिए। मैं ऐसा करता था, जैसे ईआईएस है तो मेरे को भी ईआईएस आसानी से याद नहीं होती थी, तो मैं रात को पढ़ लेता था चीजों को, कीवर्ड्स को याद कर लेता था, और सुबह इमीडिएटली उठने के बाद अपने बेसिक एक्टिविटीज सुबह उठने के बाद इमीडिएटली उनको रिवाइज कर लेता था। तो ऐसा करते करते मेरा एक क्यूमुलेटिव रिवीजन हो जाता था, तो वो आपको चीजों में मेमोराइज करने में मदद करेगा। और प्रैक्टिकल सब्जेक्ट्स के लिए मैं ऐसा कहूंगा कि प्रैक्टिस इज ओनली दैट व्हिच विल हेल्प यू। मल्टीपल आप रिवीजन करो, उसके टेस्ट पेपर्स करो, एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स प्रैक्टिकल सब्जेक्ट्स को हाथ से करके जाना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। क्योंकि मैं 10th तक ऐसा स्टूडेंट रहा था कि मैथ्स में तो बस ऐसे देख के जाता था, ऑडिट करके जाता था क्वेश्चंस की। हम लोग को लगता है कि हम पेपर करते करते ऑडिटर बन जाते हैं, चीजों को बस मैथ्स के क्वेश्चंस हो गए, कॉस्टिंग हो गए, तो बस टिक टिक करके जाते हैं, अरे ये तो आता है, ये तो आता है, ये तो आता है, और पेपर में जाके पता चलता है कुछ भी नहीं आता। तो जैसे टैक्स हो गई, कॉस्टिंग हो गई, तो ट्राई करो आप, भले ही उसको कम 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 क्वेश्चन करो, पर एटलीस्ट उनको हाथ से क्वेश्चन को निकालो, जिससे आप पता चलेगा आपको कितने पानी में हो आप, कौन सी चीज कहाँ से आती है, कैसी चीजें मूव होती है, तो वो बेटर एक्सपीरियंस मिलता है।
Okay, so I guess this was helpful.
So Lakshita, my next question is for you. Like sometimes while we are preparing for exams, while studying, fear of failure strikes us, fear of future. कि अभी तो मैं कर रही हूँ, but will I pass in exams? So how to deal with that fear?
Till like last date, I have had this fear of failing. So I would just like to mention here, he's right now in this meeting as well, CA Salish Singhvi. So when I just cleared my CA foundation, and I was in dilemma whether to just go for one group or for both the groups, because I had this thinking I won't be able to take the pressure of both the groups. So he was like कि देना तो दोनों ही है, तो भले पास एक ही होना, तो पढ़ना भी मत दूसरा ग्रुप, बट दोनों पेपर दोनों ग्रुप्स देने हैं। तो आई वाज तो फिर माय फादर आल्सो एक्सप्लेन कि जस्ट गिव इट, जस्ट इट्स वी आर नॉट टेलिंग यू टू जस्ट पास इन बोथ द ग्रुप्स, बट जस्ट गिव योर 100%, जितना होता है उतना करो। एंड देन what happened was that in October we had this felicitation ceremony for my CA foundation coaching. So at that time teachers were like कि अब तो बहुत ज़्यादा ऐसे over confidence आ गया होगा, and you need to like score well in inter as well. So at that time that sort of pressure also helped me, because I was like I wasn't expanding my potential. So when that external forces were there, I just tried to expand my potential, and there's no limit of expanding your potential. You never realize what actually you can do जब तक तुम खुद से उधर तक नहीं करते हो. So the strategy, and if I talk about the strategy, so what mistake I did was that I was in dilemma till May I was in dilemma कि दोनों ग्रुप देना है या सिंगल ग्रुप देना है. मैंने सेकंड ग्रुप की कोचिंग ही मई में स्टार्ट किया, तो इसलिए मतलब ये वाली गलती नहीं होनी चाहिए. जैसे नमोकार का था कि he'll give both the groups, he was sure from start. So I'll suggest you all to be this sure कि I want to appear for single group or for both the groups. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshita. So Shruti, my next question is for you. Like you scored very well in theory subjects as well. So what is the strategy for theory subjects? We tend to forget keywords. There are so many points. So what will you suggest some tips that through which we remember those key points and those headings?
तो थ्योरी सब्जेक्ट्स में ऐसा होता है कि याद नहीं होता एग्जैक्टली. सो व्हाट आई यूज्ड टू डू, पहले तो आईसीआई मॉड्यूल ही रेफर किया कंटेंट के लिए. फॉर ईआईएसएसएम लाइक बात करते हैं, बिकॉज उसमें जो वर्ड्स है वही आईसीआई को चाहिए. सो ICAI में मैंने जैसे क्या किया था, जो चैप्टर 3 था मैंने उसको छोड़ ही दिया. आई वाज लाइक फोकस ऑन 4 सब्जेक्ट्स बिकॉज द थर्ड चैप्टर वाज सो वास्ट कि उसको पढ़ने के चक्कर में बाकी चारों भूल जाते थे. तो मैंने लिटरली, मुझे अभी चैप्टर का नाम भी याद नहीं है, मैंने सिर्फ बाकी 4 सब्जेक्ट्स पे फोकस किया. एंड जैसे जैसे रिविजन करती थी तो व्हाट आई यूज्ड टू डू, आई यूज्ड टू हाईलाइट ऑल द कीवर्ड्स एंड आई यूज्ड टू राइट ऑन द टॉप ऑफ द पेपर कि इसमें क्या कंटेंट है, पूरा लाइक एरोस बना के फ्लो चार्ट से लिख करके. तो जैसे अब रिवीजन करना है, क्योंकि जब क्यूमुलेटिव रिविजन करते थे तो पेपर खोला, ऊपर दिख गया इसमें क्या है, तो ऐसे करके आराम से चैप्टर का रिविजन होता था. तो इससे जब बार बार क्यूमुलेटिव रिविजन होते गए ना, हेडिंग देखी, कीवर्ड्स देखे, तो एक कॉन्फिडेंस आने लगा कि हाँ चीजें याद हो रही है, पैटर्न बन रहा है, अंडरस्टैंडिंग बन रही है. तो मल्टीपल रिविजन थ्योरी में जरूरी है. एंड सिमिलरली फॉर लॉ, आई रेफर्ड ओनली माय ट्यूशन टीचर्स बुक, क्योंकि मॉड्यूल बहुत वास्ट हो गया था. तो जो बुक आप जिस कंटेंट मटेरियल से पढ़ रहे हैं, जस्ट स्टिक टू दैट. हम सोचते हैं ना इससे भी पढ़ ले, उससे भी पढ़ ले, तो एट द एंड क्या होता है, याद नहीं रहता है. इससे तो जिस मटेरियल से पढ़ रहे हैं ना, जस्ट स्टिक टू दैट. एंड अगर लग रहा है उसमें कम है तो फर्स्ट रीडिंग के टाइम ही रेफर कर लो कि मॉड्यूल के इस पेज पे ये चीज यहाँ है. तो ये मैंने लॉ में किया था. लाइक पीछे की बुक में अगर कम लग रहा है तो रेड पेन से मॉड्यूल का पेज नंबर सब कुछ रेफर कर दिया है. तो रिविजन में सीधा बस मॉड्यूल का वही पोर्शन देखना है, बाकी उस बुक को ही रेफर करना है.
Thank you, Shruti. So basically, you need to say कि आपने जिस मॉड्यूल से पहले पढ़ा, you need to stick to that till the end.
Yes.
Thank you. So my next question is for Keshav. Keshav, like while preparing till the end, sometimes like appearing for the exams, feel like bas ab nahi ho raha, we want to give up, and all sorts of negative thoughts come into our minds and fear comes into our mind. So how you would suggest to deal with that fear?
So I would suggest, so first of all, I also faced the same situation, and probably the thing was whenever I used to feel like I'm getting too much stressed up, I used to take a 1 day break. I used to chill out a lot on that day, give full to all my whatever I want to do, and get ready for the subsequent days. So this is thing, and one more thing is a person must have a fear of failing, a bit of it. It must be too much because that fear of failing will help you do beyond your limits. And sometimes, like you can really work hard because of that fear. So just have a bit of fear, and in case you are too stressed up, then you must take a break. Take a break from this thing by studying, because sometimes it happens that you get too exhausted. You take a break and then start again as a new.
Right. So you mean to say that a bit fear is necessary and important to help you score better in exams? Thank you.
So my next question is again for Nishika. What subject did you find to be the toughest, and how did you manage to study it?
Sorry, Nishika, can you please repeat the question? There's a disturbance from the side.
Which subject did you find to be the toughest, and how did you manage to study for it?
Genuinely, frankly speaking, I can say EISSM was the most difficult subject for me because as I said earlier, I'm very poor at memorizing things and learning things. And you won't believe that in EISSM, I covered only 60% syllabus for my preparation. I mean, I completed left the 40% syllabus. In EIS, out of 5, I just did 3 chapters for my papers, and for SM also, out of 8 chapters, I did 6 chapters. But my technique was that अगर 3 चैप्टर कर रहा हूँ तो उनको इतना अच्छे से करूँ कि उनमें से कोई क्वेश्चन आए तो वो छूटना नहीं चाहिए. तो that helped me in scoring good.
But you just said in your introduction speech that we should not leave topics or chapters. So like it's
Yeah,
like
actually, I agree to that. It's a bit controversial. Me saying that मैंने पहले तो पूरा कर दिया, आप छोड़ दिया. I was like that यार कि कुछ छोड़ो तो उसको completely छोड़ दो. पर अगर कुछ कर रहे हो तो ऐसा मत करो कि आप उसको 80% कर रहे हो, 30% कर रहे हो, क्योंकि अगर जैसे मैंने फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स से एडवांस अकाउंट्स का मैं पेपर दे रहा हूँ, मैंने कंसोलिडेशन चैप्टर छोड़ दिया, मुझे नहीं आता. अब उसका कंपलसरी क्वेश्चन आ जाता है आपके क्वेश्चन नंबर 1, जो कि कंपलसरी होता है कंसोलिडेशन का 20 मार्क्स का. आपको नहीं आता बिल्कुल ही, आपने छोड़ दिया, उसको छोड़ दो, 80 मार्क्स का पेपर रह गया. उसके बाद अगर कोई 1 या 2 क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा भी ट्रिकी आ जाता है तो फिर आप गारंटीड उसमें एग्जामिनेशन तो छोड़ो, पास भी नहीं हो पाओगे. तो ये है ना कि आप छोड़ो तो एक चीज को कंप्लीटली छोड़ दो, बाकी चीज जो करो उसको 100% एक्यूरेसी से करो कि उस चैप्टर से अगर कोई क्वेश्चन आता है एनी हाउ वो मेरे को लीव नहीं करना है, वो मेरे को अटेंड करना है और उसमें मैक्सिमम मार्क्स जो मैं स्कोर कर सकता हूँ, जो ICAI ग्रांट करेगी, वो मैं आई एम एबल टू सिक्योर.
Okay, okay, I got it. Shruti, I would like to ask the same question to you. Like, we sometimes tend to leave some topics or chapters. So what is your take on this?
I am saying that जितना करो वो अच्छे से करो and you can leave chapters. Like I said, I left one chapter in ES and I left 4 chapters in SM. तो मैंने सिर्फ first 4 या I don't even remember मैंने क्या पढ़ा था, but जो chapters पढ़े वो अच्छे से पढ़े, उनका RTP MTP सारा किया कि उनमें से आएगा तो I'll definitely attempt. And for these subjects like ES, SM and law, आपको MCQs के लिए बहुत अच्छे से focus करना चाहिए कि भाई MCQs में हम अच्छा स्कोर कर लेंगे तो बाकी का ये जो बचे हुए चैप्टर्स है इनका हम अटेम्प्ट कर लेंगे. तो मेरे को IAS में ऐसा था, सबने आई हैड अ फ्रेंड ही वाज प्रिपेयरिंग 100% कोर्स एंड आई वाज लाइक सो स्कैर्ड व्हाट विल आई डू, बट व्हेन द रिजल्ट केम एंड आई गॉट exemption in IAS, that was the biggest unbelievable thing for me on that day.
Okay, nice, good. So my next question is for Lakshita. So what is the importance of written practice during exams? Like, how would you suggest we should do it?
Okay, so written practice is just not important for just theory subjects, but for practical subjects as well. And in a way, there's the set method. Like if you're writing answer for law, so you need to first mention the provision and then they explain the provision and then the case and then derive the conclusion. So that thing will have that you'll be able to follow this method if you just write your answers again and again. I'm not asking कि सारे answers लिखने पड़ेंगे because it's not practically possible क्योंकि 8 subjects को simultaneously we need to manage. But there's this set method for every subject. And अगर law में जो strategy you cannot follow the same in audit. In audit, essays, mentioning of essays plays a very important role. In law, you may skip learning provisions of a few chapters, but in audit, you need to mention the essay in the answer. It will give a very good impression in the answer. So writing, and this will happen just when you just write, and it's like one to paper you have done, like you have written the answers as you'll write an exam, but then you may just follow the strategy of just writing the keywords or just making an outline of the answers. Because just अगर तुम सिर्फ पढ़ रहे हो उससे तो better ही है कि तुम थोड़ा बहुत लिख रहे हो. And in practicals, what people generally do is वो calculator पे calculate कर लेंगे and then they leave कि अब हो गया ना ये. But जब लिखते हैं ना, जब वो पूरा method लिखते हैं तो वो स्किप हो जाते कि नेक्स्ट स्टेप क्या था, तो कैलकुलेटर की तो कैलकुलेशन दिखेगी नहीं उधर, तो वो बहुत ज्यादा मैटर करता है फॉर प्रैक्टिकल सब्जेक्ट्स. एंड देन द फॉर्मेट्स, अगर कॉस्टिंग का कोई एक सब्जेक्ट एक पर्टिकुलर फॉर्मेट एक पर्टिकुलर फ्लो में आपको लिखना है, तो वो भी चीज जब आप रिटन प्रैक्टिस करेंगे तभी आएगा. तो बस ये कि रिटन मतलब वो इंडिविजुअल टू इंडिविजुअल पे डिपेंड करता है कि तुम्हारा क्या कोर स्ट्रेंथ है. आई यूज्ड टू लाइक FM, तो मैंने उसकी बहुत ज्यादा रिटन प्रैक्टिस किया था. EIS नहीं अच्छा लगता तो उसका नहीं किया इतना ज्यादा, तो इट डिपेंड्स ऑन पर्सन टू पर्सन बेसिकली.
Okay, thank you.
So my question is for Shruti. Shruti, when we are sitting in the examination hall and as soon as the paper comes and we are not able to recall answer for 1 or 2 questions, like we get completely tensed. So how to keep our mind calm in that situation, because it is very important to be calm there, otherwise we'll end up messing up with the whole paper.
So when I was panicking during the preparation, my father used to say me, "तू यहाँ पे पैनिक करी, मैं हूँ तेरे साथ, but एग्जाम हॉल में कोई नहीं होगा." तो ये बात सुनकर एक माइंडसेट बन गया था कि वहाँ पे पैनिक नहीं करना है. और क्योंकि 100% कोर्स नहीं किया था तो इस चीज के लिए पहले माइंडसेट बना हुआ था कि पेपर में कुछ ऐसा आएगा जो अपने को नहीं आने वाला है. तो जैसे वो चीज आई ना, छोड़ दिया. जो अपने और सर्च कर रहे हैं, जो मेरे को बेस्ट आ रहा है, आई एम लुकिंग फॉर दैट, वो आती, देन आई एम स्टार्टिंग कि हाँ थोड़ी थोड़ी पॉजिटिविटी आ रही है बट लाइक जो टैक्स का पेपर था उसमें हुई थी ये गलती, क्योंकि जीएसटी का भी कंपल्सरी क्वेश्चन एज वेल एज टीटी का भी कंपल्सरी क्वेश्चन है, एक एक ट्रिकी पॉइंट डाल दिया, तो एक बारी के लिए ऐसा हो गया फेल नहीं होगा। बट देन अगेन दूसरे क्वेश्चंस ढूंढे कि हाँ धीरे धीरे, देन मैंने कैलकुलेटर रख दिया कि हाँ इतना हुआ, चलो 60 का अटेम्प्ट हो गया, ठीक है अब बाकी का पेपर अटेम्प्ट करो। तो ये होता है। EISSM में भी सेम था, क्योंकि मैंने कोर्स पूरा नहीं किया था, तो मैं थ्योरी के पेपर में कैलकुलेटर इसीलिए लेके गई थी कि मैं 60 का अटेम्प्ट कर दूं एटलीस्ट, तो मैं हाँ कैलकुलेट करती थी कि हाँ इतने का अटेम्प्ट हो गया है। तो दैट इज अपने को माइंडसेट बनाना पड़ेगा कि बाकी का पेपर अच्छे से करना है, क्योंकि फिर उस चक्कर में ऐसा होता है जब पैनिक स्ट्राइक होता है, जो आ रहा होता है ना उसमें भी हम बहुत गलतियां करते हैं, और एक ही अटेम्प्ट है तो उसको वेस्ट नहीं करना है, तो अगर इस अटेम्प्ट में निकाला है तो इस चीज का ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Shruti. Namokar, the same question is for you. What are your views on this question?
एक्चुअली ऐसा तो होता ही है, क्योंकि पेपर में पैनिक होना एक बहुत नॉर्मल सी बात होती है उसमें, क्योंकि क्वेश्चन जैसे आते ही है, क्वेश्चन आपको चैलेंज करते हैं, वो आपको इंस्टीट्यूट सीए बना रहा है तो सिर्फ वो एक टेक्निकल नॉलेज के बेसिस पे नहीं बना रहा है, वो आपको एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव एक पावर क्रिएट कर रहा है जो हर सिचुएशन में बीट कर सके, वो प्रेशर हैंडल कर सके, वो मतलब अपन जैसे इंटरमीडिएट की प्रिपरेशन करते हैं तो कितने ज्यादा आवर्स बैठते हैं, तो ये सिर्फ एक टेक्निकल नॉलेज के कारण नहीं है, ये इंस्टीट्यूट अपनी प्रिपरेशन कराते हैं कि एक जब ये सीए हमारा क्वालिफाई होकर निकले तो ये रेडी टू लॉन्च इन द मार्केट है। तो इसको रिगार्ड करते हुए अपन ऐसे कर सकते हैं कि यार कोई क्वेश्चन लीव नहीं आ रहा तो आप उसको कंप्लीटली, जैसे कोई क्वेश्चन मैंने अटेम्प्ट करा है स्टार्टिंग टू पेपर इंसेप्शन पे पकड़ा और मेरे को कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आया तो उसको आप कंप्लीटली लीव कर दो, उस पे क्यों आप ऐसा देख, उसको ऐसे देख के खुद का कॉन्फिडेंस लूज करने से आपके बाकी क्वेश्चंस पे इम्पैक्ट करेगा, तो उसके लिए सबसे स्ट्रेटेजी अच्छी है उसको लीव कर दो, बाकी के क्वेश्चन जो आपको आ रहे हैं जो अच्छे से आ रहे हैं उसको सबसे पहले अटेम्प्ट करो, जो थोड़ा कम आ रहे हैं उसको नेक्स्ट नंबर पे एंड सब्सिक्वेंटली ऐसे अटेम्प्ट करो, और लास्ट में जब आपका पूरा पेपर हो जाए और वो लास्ट क्वेश्चन नहीं हो तो आप उस पर डील करो, जितना आप करके आ सकते हो उतना करो और पेपर अच्छे से अटेम्प्ट करो।
Thank you, Namokar. Kesha, what are your views in this regard?
ये मेरे साथ सिचुएशन एक्चुअल में हुई भी थी, और टैक्स के पेपर में ऑडिट के पेपर में दोनों में हुई थी। तो टैक्स का पेपर में तो पता नहीं मैंने कैसे किया, मुझे नहीं पता, लेकिन फिर ऑडिट पेपर में आई गॉट एन अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि मैंने थोड़ा लर्निंग ली कि टैक्स पेपर जब इफ यू थिंक दैट देयर आर लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस व्हिच यू डोंट नो एंड क्या स्ट्रेटजी लेनी चाहिए। तो व्हाट आई डिड इन ऑडिट वाज, सबसे पहले तो कि आई वाज वेरी काम, मैंने कहा जितना करना है अच्छे से करना है, धीरे धीरे करना है। आई डिड नॉट इवन रिवाइज माय ऑडिट पेपर वंस। और मैंने व्हाट आई रियली फील इज व्हेनेवर यू फील कि क्वेश्चन पेपर कुछ ज्यादा ट्रिकी आ रहा है या फिर नहीं आ रहा है अपन को, तो आई ट्राई टू शिफ्ट माय फोकस ऑन एमसीक्यूज, बिकॉज वो काफी स्कोरिंग कर सकते हैं अगर वो पेपर में है तो यही है कि मतलब जितना करो उस टाइम फिर अच्छे से करो, कि अपना 100% देना ही है।
Okay, thank you. So my next question goes for Lakshita. Lakshita, how did you stay consistent throughout your journey? Like there were times which you might have felt low. So how did you kept up with all that, and how did you stay motivated?
I wasn't just consistent throughout 2021. There were times when I was like कि अब नहीं हो रहा है, तो ऐसा नहीं था कि 100% consistency थी, but then I used to cry a lot in front of my parents कि नहीं हो रहा मम्मा, नहीं हो रहा पापा, and then they used to be like कि करो तो सही, अभी तक पेपर ही नहीं दिया, उससे पहले तुमने सोच लिया कि नहीं मैं तो फेल हो रही हूँ। तो they used to just, and then they used to take me out कि चलो रेस्टोरेंट चलते हैं, चलो बाहर चलते हैं। तो like अगर एकदम प्रेशर पर ना पूरा, just leave studies for a while, for an hour or two, talk to your friends, talk to your parents, just roam around, do anything, and then अगर वो 1 2 hours अगर तुमने उसमें वेस्ट भी किया ना, it's not that wasting, it's actually investing, because उसके बाद जो concentration level आएगी ना, that will be like very amazing. तो कंसिस्टेंट तो आई गेस कोई भी नहीं रहा होगा पूरे अपने जर्नी में, थोड़ा बहुत अप्स एंड डाउन्स आएंगे, बट देन यू नीड टू बी श्योर कि हाँ एग्जाम तो देना है, सीए तो बनना है, और एक ही मतलब ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि देखा जाएगा, मतलब हवा में तो दे नहीं रहे ना पेपर। अगर तुम सीए नहीं बने तो फिर तो तुम्हारे पास यू डोंट हैव एनी अदर ऑप्शन विद योरसेल्फ। तो आई वाज कि if not CA then क्या कुछ भी नहीं. तो बस उस thought के साथ then back on track कि नहीं अब तो करना है. And then my friends used to motivate me a lot. None of my friends is pursuing CA, but then they were like कि Lakshita तू कर लेगी, तू कर लेगी, तू कर लेगी. And then they used to give me, I don't know, false hopes or true hopes, but then they used to just motivate me कि हो जाएगा लक्षिता, हो जाएगा. उन्हें मेरे subjects के नाम भी नहीं पता थे, but they were like कि नहीं तू कर लेगी. So just stay in touch with your friends, your parents, and they'll just motivate you to be consistent, because कभी-कभार external motivation, external pressure plays a very important role. That's it.
Thank you, Lakshita.
So I would like to conclude the meeting by saying that I appreciate you all taking out time from your busy schedules to provide us with such valuable information, which might help the upcoming CA aspirants with their preparations as well. So I would like to thank all the speakers of today's webinar for teaching us their experience and guiding us with all their knowledge. I would like to thank ICI branch Jodhpur, the CICASA branch for organizing such a fruitful webinar. Thank you, everyone.